Hey guys, it's Kyle and Jody, and today we're at home, which is fitting because we're going to talk about the at-home yoga practice. So we're going to talk about the challenges of practicing yoga at home, and we're also going to talk about some tips to help support and encourage your home yoga practice.
Alone and loved, that's how I feel. I dream all night and day. That's how I feel. I dream all night and day. Could you give us a chance if you mind? And I deserve it, please, one last time. Could you give us a chance? We'll be so fine.
Kika kisses. Oh, don't hit.
I hope one day, somehow, I always will meet again. 'Cause I've
Practicing yoga at home definitely has its challenges. It's not like coming into the studio where everything is prepared and it's ready and it smells good and everything is just zen and ready to go for the practice. It's not like that when you're at home. I would say for myself in this past 3-4 months during COVID that it's really the first time that I've been, I guess, forced to get on my mat at home, and it's not been easy. And I've been at this for a while practicing yoga, and my home practice hasn't always been something that I've had consistency around. I would much rather be led by an instructor, and I think most of us have that way of being where we'd rather be led by a teacher than to be our own gurus at home. One of the things that we've learned since we started doing online video back in March is that we can see how long people are actually doing the class for. So we can see the amount of time in that someone has spent in, say, a 35-minute class. And I think it's just human nature. It's just the way that we're designed, is that there is no accountability for us to stay on our mats when we're at home. So the viewership is quite low in terms of like a 35-minute class. We might have people staying for an average watch time of about 10 or 15 minutes. Now, we know in our studio classes that people don't just get up and walk out the door, not very often anyways. So we know that there's some extra challenges that are on top of us when we're at home. So we've shared with you some of the challenges that we've identified to practicing yoga at home. Leave us a comment so that we can see what you guys have come up with and share with us what's been challenging for you. So what do? Obviously, we want to continue to practice yoga at home, and actually as our yoga practice matures, that is something that we're working towards, is to be self-led. You know, it's kind of one of the traits of a mature yogi. Over time, we learn how to take what we need for ourselves and we guide ourselves through our own practice. So Kyle and I want to share with you guys 8 things that we've identified that are essential for a really good, sustainable home practice. Number 1. Find a place in your home that feels like a sacred space for you. A place that you can come back to again and again, and you don't have to go to different rooms in your house to gather up your yoga mat and your props and everything that you need for an at-home practice. So find some place in your home that is kind of yours, that you've carved out. During COVID, this is a great time to maybe do a little quick room redesign where you redistribute some of the things in your house, where you can really create this beautiful space just for you and your yoga practice. Number 2, create an altar. A lot of times when you go into a yoga studio, you'll see things like crystals or fresh flowers. You might have a favorite book that you're reading right now that has some quotes or something inspirational for you. It's really just anything that makes you want to go to that space, that once you get there, makes you want to stay. Number 3, yoga props. This is something that's really important, actually, whether you're practicing at home or in the studio, because now studios don't have props for sharing. You got to bring your own. So it's worth it to invest in some good yoga props. We like the cork blocks. Some people like the foam blocks, but we recommend these 4-inch blocks that you have 2 of these. It's nice to have a blanket that you can roll up and put underneath the low part of the back or underneath your shoulders or for Shavasana at the very end of class. And also a fairly decent bolster. It doesn't have to be this big. It can be something a lot smaller than this, but just something that is a pillow that you can use underneath your head. And we say this all the time, invest in a good yoga mat, one that's going to be sticky and grippy, and it's going to be fun to move around on, and you're not having to worry about slipping and sliding around on it. Kyle and I are thinking about doing a whole video just on yoga props alone so that we can give you guys some guidance around the props that we think are the best. Number 4, this kind of goes back to tag off of number 1 and number 2 with the location in your house, the sacred space, as well as the altar. But if you have a diffuser and you can diffuse a little bit of essential oil, just the scent is something that will make you want to be in that space a little bit more. So get a good diffuser, treat yourself to some essential oils, and just make it really magical for you to be in that space.
Okay, number 5 is signing up on Mindbody. It creates more accountability when you have said, I'm going to sign up for this class with that teacher that I know and I really enjoy that class, I maybe know what to expect. So you're going to do the class live. With Alchemy, you can also do the class at a later link. So we have something called the Home Practice Pass, and I'll put a link to that in the description. It's 25 bucks a month, but that lets you do all of Alchemy's classes online at your home. But it's a little different than just signing up for or just picking a random yoga video off of YouTube. When you sign up, you get that extra accountability to make it more likely that you'll actually complete the class.
Okay, number 6 is lower your expectations. Now that might sound a little bit funny, but if you're leading yourself through a home practice, say you're choosing not to watch something on YouTube or a link from a studio, see if you can do something that is short and sweet, and maybe you just need to work through your head, neck, and shoulders because you've been sitting at a desk for a little while, or maybe you've been in a car and you feel like you need to move your hips around. That's all you really need to do. You don't need to replicate a 90-minute Vinyasa flow class with a senior teacher in your basement at your house. All you really need to do is move breath through the body and just get some oil and lubes going through the joints. That's all it is. So lower your expectations just a tiny bit. Number 7, time of day. So yoga tells us that the most still time of day, when we're most connected to the divine and to ourselves, is first thing in the morning. And generally that's when the laundry chime's not going off, the kids aren't running around in the house yet because maybe they're not up, and you have this little bit of time first thing in the morning that you can carve out for your yoga practice. So maybe that's in the evening for you, maybe it's even in the middle of the day, but find a time where you know your house is quiet and you can get maybe 25 to 30 minutes of a quiet home without any interruptions. Number 8, find a part of the body that you know you need to work on for you personally. So one of the things that we can find when we go to a group-led class is that the teacher is teaching something that you actually don't want to do. Maybe the teacher's doing a lot of fiery twists and you really just feel like you want to lay on your mat and open up your hips. So find a part of the body. There's generally 3 that we would think of: the shoulders and the neck, the spine and the core, and then the hips. So find a part of you that you feel needs opening or either strengthening or stretching, and just work with that one area, and don't worry about the rest. You'll be fine. Okay, so that wraps up our tips on what we think will help you guys out to sustain your yoga practice at home. If you have anything additional that you want to share with us, some things that you've encountered, some funny things, some bloopers that have gone on for you and your yoga mat, share in the comments below. We would love to hear it. And if you guys find this video helpful, you can subscribe to our channel. And next week, Kyle and I are going to catch up and do an interview with somebody that we both are really inspired by. This person has a wicked at-home practice, and we're going to catch up with this person and share some of their tips on how they have a yoga practice every single day and have from very early on in their practice. Thanks for watching. We'll catch up with you guys soon.